Hey, you want it? I got it. Let's talk about it. All right, coming to you raw and uncut. All right, hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, hit that bell for next notification. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. SummerSlam wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I mean, there was a few matches that I thought that shouldn't be on the card, but it is what it is. Triple H is doing his thing, trying to and stuff, and we know how that's been going lately. Since the first Netflix show appearance of Raw about 8 months ago. Yeah, so we already know what that's going on, how that's moving. But anyway, the show tonight was okay. It had its moments, but we can deal with it. So we're gonna go through it like this. First match. All right, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. The match was okay. It was pretty good. It started out real slow and stuff. There was some few botches for a minute there. I thought, ooh, when Bronson Reed came out the ring flying, thought he was going to go, face first and stuff, into the ground. But there was another one too where Roman Reigns went out. Yeah, I mean, how often do you see Roman Reigns flying through the air and flying through the ropes? Almost broke his back because they completely missed him and stuff. But the match was okay. You know, um, as they come out, Paul, Bronson Reed was still had Roman Reigns, tennis shoes around his neck, then gave him to Paul Heyman. But one day, I think we're going to see Paul Heyman get choked by them string laces and stuff for the shoes because I think Roman's going to get him. But it was cool seeing Roman Reigns with the Ula follow around his neck and everything. So maybe they might go back into something like that again. But other than that, Roman Reigns, he took one hard one for the team. And Jey Uso, you know, um, Spears Bronson Reed goes down and Frog splashes Bronson Reed and 1, 2, 3 and they win. It was an okay match. You know, nothing to really goo goo gaga about and stuff because I'm still trying to figure out the Seth Rollins faction thing with, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I mean, it still doesn't make any sense with them. Nobody still knows why Paul Heyman did what he did, but we'll see as the show goes on. But anyway, the next match is Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair against Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. This was an okay match too. Like I said, most of the matches started out kind of a little slow, but they kind of picked up. I can't say all the matches were bad and stuff like that. I mean, you're gonna have your blotches and stuff like that. There's gonna be some missed spots and everything, but it was okay. I'm glad to see that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte now. I guess they can say that they're use the F word. Saying that they're friends and stuff. Um, I mean, the match was pretty good. There was some real stuff that I like to see. Charlotte doing, getting around, in the ring, especially that moonsault. You know, um, Charlotte for her age, she still gets around the ring, and actually she's kind of looking good because if you see Charlotte when she first came in and stuff, she was a little bit bony and stuff, but now she's kind of filled out. I think she's in the gym actually really working out. Since her and Alexa Bliss has gotten together, they've been Charlotte's actually been looking pretty decent coming down to the ring and stuff. But we have our new tag team champions, women tag team champions, which is Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And the right team actually won that. So when Liv Morgan comes back, oh my, how's that going to happen with the Judgment Day? Stay tuned Monday. Then we get this match with Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. Why is this match on a PLE like this? We'll all never know. But that's Triple H. It's his thing. That's how he saw it. That's how he put it and stuff. Sami Zayn ends up winning the match. even though she tried to give him a pipe to use. Why would she do that? Sami Zayn wasn't going to use the pipe anyway, and as he showed, he wasn't going to use it. Threw it out the ring. Uh, he catches Karrion Kross with a hula kick, and it is done. It's over. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm glad that's over, so we won't have to see them two going at it anymore and figure out what truth Sami should be saying or whatever the case, whatever, however that was at and stuff. I mean, it was pretty dope too in this match when Sami Zayn, did a moonsault off the barricade. That was pretty good and stuff. But the match is over. Sami wins, and we're just gonna leave it like that. That's what I'm saying. Is that some of these matches should have never been on this type of PLE because this is what the second biggest PLE um, that they have in the year. I mean, the next one will be the next WrestleMania. But 53,161 people, fans, that's pretty good at MetLife. That's pretty decent crowd. See what they get tomorrow for, night two. And then we're going to go into the Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton match. I mean, this match was okay. I mean, it could have been a little bit more. Both of these ladies are pretty fit. I mean, they did do what they had to do. And stuff. Ultimately, Tiffany Stratton wins the title. I would have thought they would probably put it on Jade Cargill, but I'm sure they're going to be going back and forth. This is not the last time that these two will meet for that title, but that title will probably sooner or later end up on Jade Cargill's waist. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how they do it, see how they ride it, see how they put things. Then we come down to the Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. This match again, too, I say, was a match that probably shouldn't have been on this PLE, but I understand, Jelly Roll being such a big country star that he is, I guess Triple H, I don't want to say owe it to him or anything like that, but, you've seen the interviews, if you watched the preseason, the segment before, the show started. They had a good segment with Jelly Roll and stuff like that. And he said some of the things that, as far as when he was 13 years old, he'd always wanted to be, he wanted to be a wrestler before he thought about being a singer. How true that is, I don't know. But he's pretty good at what he does in his craft. But I'm glad to see Jelly Roll has lost all that weight, over 200 pounds and stuff, I mean, there's a part where you see Triple H telling him, when he was that big, is that if he loses the weight, get healthy, yeah. So here we are today with this match right here. So it's kind of like almost it was promised to him to have this match and stuff. And he did pretty good. I mean, he did okay, for not ever being in the ring. They all have their moments, when they had that first match, whatever. I mean, he's not all that agile, to get around like the other three and stuff. But other than that, he did okay and stuff, but that frog splash out the top rope that Logan Paul did to Jelly Roll, I thought he killed him. Honestly. I mean, Jelly Roll braced for it as best as he could, but man, when they went through that table and it crashed, you know, but he took it nicely. He took it real good and stuff, and then he worked the crowd with, being hurt, and it ended up being Randy Orton, going up against Paul Logan and Drew McIntyre and stuff. I mean, and it was okay. And then as they're, pulling Jelly Roll out and everything, he looks back to the ring and sees that, Randy Orton is in trouble and everything. So he fights his way back to the ring. Um, he fights his way back to the ring, and then when he gets in the ring, he gets beat up again. I mean, I don't want to laugh, but it's crazy. But anyway, Jelly Roll he took a beating in this match. He took a beat. Him and Randy Orton both took a beating. And then you get the roll. I mean the pin. And it had to be right. Jelly Roll, gets the pin. Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, they win the match and everything. I'm hoping that this is over with, but it could start something between Orton and McIntyre. And so that might happen. Or maybe Logan Paul. But we all know Logan Paul, he don't show up on TV. He shows up to talk, but he don't show up to wrestle and stuff. And I think Logan Paul's always wrestled on PLEs. Wonder what's up with that. When are they gonna start putting him on, some matches that are gonna be televised? Hmm. I think he might have did one televised match. I'm not sure, but all his showings have been on PLDs. Now I had to give him, his props. Logan Paul has been doing his thing in the ring and stuff. You gotta. That's the kind of guy that you love to hate. I mean, he's pretty good at what he does too when he's in the ring because he backs it up and stuff. So I'm not hating on Logan Paul. I'm just hating on his character. you know. Um, but anyway, they win the match. Hopefully that's over. And then we come down to the match of CM Punk and Gunther. This match, was the CM Punk gets the beat down because he got beat down the entire match. I think there might have been one or two times well, maybe three, you know, that he came back in. But let me tell you right now, Gunther punished him, punished him, punished him. Then, CM Punk gets, up. Somehow, Gunther ends up over the table, the announcer's table. He comes up bleeding like a pig. I mean, bleeding like a pig. I mean, he's like, yeah, Christian blood. So you figure that, CM Punk was gonna, you know, easily beat him, but no. CM Punk still got some beat down put upon him, you know, and then he got put in the chokehold. Now the beating that CM Punk took, I mean, I don't know where he found the strength or whatever to get Gunther across his shoulders for the GTS, but he hits Gunther with the GTS. Gunther stumbles and everything like a drunk monkey. He's just stumbling, and then CM Punk gets him again. Another GTS. Gunther goes down. CM Punk becomes champion. All right. Well, we're celebrating. Everybody, yeah, 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 yeah. But I predicted this a long time ago. What took place after CM Punk um, won this title. I said Seth Rollins wasn't hurt. I believe it's in one of my other videos. I knew he wasn't hurt and stuff, And I kind of wish I had it done alive, but don't know how to set that up yet. But my brother-in-law and I were sitting here and we were, talking, and I knew Seth Rollins was gonna show up. I knew this would be the time because I told him, I said he won't cash in on on the John Cena and Cody Rhodes thing. Yeah, he ain't gonna do none of that. It's all been on Raw, and so he's going after that title that Gunther has and everything. And whoever wins that match, that's what Seth Rollins was gonna, cash in on and stuff. And it happened to be CM Punk. CM Punk was champion. I mean, it took him like 12 years to get to this spot and to win the title, but to lose it in 5 minutes. But then again, remember, Seth Rollins has done this before. He did the same thing. He cashed in on Drew McIntyre, and I think Drew McIntyre might have had the belt maybe 3 minutes at that time. I think it was the quickest. It was the quickest title release, in history. I mean, yeah. So Seth Rollins, everybody should have known. I wasn't fooled by when he had the match with LA Knight and did that flip and said he hurt his knee, and then LA Knight wins the match, whatever. And then they go on and say that Seth Rollins got bad knee problems, but the one interview that they had it with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman said, "Well, hell, he still has until June of next year, to turn, cash in with the briefcase." So that told you right there that Seth Rollins was okay and stuff. But anyway, it was a good show. It was a great show. Um, I don't know what tomorrow night's going to be like, but it's going to be the better card because they have the better matches, and I just hope it's jumping and stuff. But anyway, I thank you for watching. God bless. Deuces. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.